everybody, welcome back to Apples and Oranges. I'm one of your hosts, Pastor Jason, and this is a podcast we usually compare what the world says about topics, and we dive deep into what the Bible says. But before I go any further, let me introduce my co-host.
I'm Ashley Duffner. I'm a student of the Bible right now.
That's great, and you're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good. And so we decided to change the rhythm of our show for a little while. For those of you that watched our episode last week, we transitioned to some movie reviews.
Yeah, we're spicing it up a bit.
That's right. We're spicing it up a bit. And I will say that for those of you that are out there listening or watching, we are over 101 subscribers to YouTube. So that was, I know it doesn't, it's a huge milestone for us.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
I think it's pretty neat.
101 people subscribe to us.
Subscribe to our channel.
They watch us.
They watch us all the time, and they listen to our wackiness and what we have to say. And so if you're out there and you're listening, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Apples and Oranges. Maybe you're listening to us on Spotify. That's great. We're on all the platforms.
Yep.
We're on all the platforms, right?
Anywhere you can get a podcast.
Yeah.
I think we're there.
Now, let's just do a really a recap. Last week, what two movies did we talk about? We talked about what? We talked about God's Not Dead.
We talked about God's Not Dead, and we talked about another older one. The Miracles from Heaven.
Miracles from Heaven. Two excellent movies. We're not going to give you the review on those again. You can go back and watch our podcast on those two movies. But I think they got like a 3 and a 4 from us, right? I guess we should try to keep track of this.
Well, we're doing out of 5, right?
Yeah, we're doing it out of 5.
I think that one got a 3. I think you got a 2.
Maybe you got a 2 and a 3. A 2.5. Yeah, that's right.
And
You got a 2.5. 2.5 and a 4.
Yeah.
2.5 and a 4. Well, listen. So we're gonna kick off today with another two movies. One of them is really recent.
Did we tell them what we were watching?
No.
Oh, we should next. We should this time.
Well, then you better get on your phone and pick two movies out.
Well, the other two I picked out.
Because we don't know what we're watching. The ones you picked out were not Christian movies.
Jason watched 2 new movies that were not Christian movies at all.
Not Christian movies at all. So she's going to do some research. But today, last week, again, we did God's Not Dead. And so today we're going to kick it off with a movie review of God's Not Dead 2. God's Not Dead 2. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was really, really well done.
I really love this movie because Melissa Joan Hart is in it.
Who's that?
She's the main character.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, let me look it up.
Yes. She's the main character. And
she was great.
She's a school teacher. She's good in everything. I love her so much.
She was fantastic.
She was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
No idea what that is. I don't think. Maybe we'll do a review on that one day. The Teenage Witch.
Yeah. She's in a lot of different movies, though. So it's funny she's in this movie, though. Like, she's in a witchy show. That's really funny. I wonder if...
Well, she's a Christian.
So she's...
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a testimony of her life here. And there was just really one... I'm not going to ruin it for the viewers out there. I thought that this was really well done. There was a scene in this movie where the world is stacked up against this lady. I think her name is Grace Wesley in the movie. And she's Grace Wesley, and there's a moment where she's on her bed and she's crying, and she prays almost the very same prayer that Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. If you will, Lord, take this from me. It was just really moving, really powerful.
That's so weird.
You didn't recognize that?
No. So... I watched it, so I saw that part, but it's really weird that you bring that up because I was just yesterday on Facebook, probably where I just shouldn't even go on there anymore.
Uh-oh.
But that's Luke 22:42.
Yes. Yep.
I literally quoted that scripture to a reply in a comment.
Oh.
Where...
Don't go into the comment because it doesn't appear to be appropriate.
No, it wasn't anything bad.
Yeah.
It's just like, when you find yourself on Facebook and you see what these people are saying and then you want to respond so bad, but like you just don't even want to get into it. Like that kind of a thing.
That maybe, yeah.
Well, anyway, I felt like I had to, so I responded to comments, but not in like a mean way, just like in an informal
An informal response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, well, this is what this says. So, like,
Yeah.
not that you're wrong, but you're kind of wrong.
All right, you're going down a rabbit trail.
Anyway,
it's a
weird
beautiful
that you
verse.
said that because I used that verse yesterday.
It's Holy Spirit thread right there. That's what we call that, a Holy Spirit thread. Well, listen, let's just give a really quick rundown of what this movie is. So those of you that are out there listening or watching, if you want to check this out, it's called God's Not Dead 2. It's about a high school teacher who's Grace Wesley. She's played by Melissa Joan Hart. Comes under fire for answering a student's question about Jesus. Haley Orantia is the student. Pardon me if I pronounced that wrong. When Grace refuses to apologize, the school board votes to suspend her and threatens to revoke her teaching certificate. Forced to stand trial to save her career, Grace hires young lawyer Ted Endler, who is Jesse Metcalf.
Or he also plays in John Tucker Must Die, for the younger crowd out there.
John Tucker Must Die. Okay, so this Jesse Metcalf, he is actually the one who defends Melissa Joan Hart in the case here. Endler devises a powerful strategy to show the jury the historical significance of Wesley's classroom discussion. And I thought, this was just really well done.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. But like, you know how like in the beginning of the like God's Not Dead, the first one, I was like, it doesn't even make sense because like that wouldn't be an argument.
Right.
Like you can't do that in school.
Right.
I feel like this was kind of like that too. Like she just answered a question.
Yes.
She didn't teach about Jesus.
Right.
So like where I come from in this movie is like it shouldn't have even been a movie, but then there would be no movie.
Well, so this is a reality in many schools around the country that if you even have a discussion about Jesus, you're appeared to be projecting your faith onto them.
Yeah.
I just took a law class, and our case study was on this high school football coach who, at the end of the game, technically he's no longer working as a teacher or as a coach. He prayed. And so they suspended him for that.
I think I heard about this.
Because some of the parents thought that, some of the kids joined him. And they thought that he was forcing his faith on the children. Whole big thing. It went to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, and it found in his favor. Because he, he wasn't working, and B, the students joined him. He didn't ask them to join.
Yeah.
So it was just, this is a lot of people face this in society today. They really do.
Yeah, and even in the movie, like the student asked the question. She didn't bring up Jesus.
Yeah.
Plus, he is a historical figure.
Well, that's the part that I really liked about this, because a lot of people are struggling with Jesus being, a person.
Yeah.
And we've been saying it on our podcasts for a couple different episodes that there is many geological, archaeological, historical facts, firsthand testimonies of Jesus and his life on earth. And I thought what was really fascinating about this movie uses real atheists who didn't believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And when they studied Jesus as a person and then as the Son of God, the evidence in these real atheist lives, this is not Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood did a good job putting this movie together. But these are real atheists, real professors at universities that did this research that said there is just so much overwhelming evidence that they also gave their life to Jesus Christ, and they're no longer atheists. So I really like the way that Hollywood, that the movies, I don't want to say Hollywood because I don't even know if Hollywood made this movie.
No, this is probably an independent film.
An independent film, yeah. But I really like the way that they brought in true, real professors to testify to the person of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
I thought it was really, really well done. Now, let me just give you a couple. So again, for those of you that are thinking about checking this out, here is a couple. It's a pretty good cast. David A.R. White, he was in God's Not Dead, the first one. He's the priest. Melissa Joan Hart, we mentioned her. She's in this witch movie you're talking about.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina and her
when
witch.
She was young, very young.
When her young, you're very young, right?
Teenage, when she was teenager.
Oh, teenager. She must have been the teenage witch. Then there's Jesse Metcalf. He was the defense attorney. Tricia Lafiche, she was in the first God's Not Dead. She was the reporter in the first God's Not Dead. Here's a couple bigger names, though. Ray Weiss. Ray Weiss was Peter Kane. He is the prosecutor who was standing in for the government.
Yeah.
For the
school board.
The school board. Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson. He was the judge. Judge Steinitz. And if you don't know who Ernie Hudson is, the way that I know him, he was one of the Ghostbusters.
I don't know him.
Yeah, that's him there. You know.
Oh, yeah, he's familiar.
Yeah, he's familiar. Then there's Fred Dalton Thompson. Now, for those of you, Fred Dalton Thompson, I believe he was either a senator or a congressman for the United States of America, but he was also a pretty famous actor. And so he's in this film, and he's the senior pastor of the church that Grace Wesley or Melissa Joan Hart goes to. So just a really good. And again, who was it? The Duck Dynasty people are in this one again. Robin Givens, she's a pretty big name. She's in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of real people. I like real like people that believe.
Yeah.
Not just like actors.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Paul Koo. He was in the first one also. He was the Chinese student.
Yeah, he
in
came
the
back.
first one. He came back also. So yeah, so I just thought that this one was really well done. And if you're out there and you have one of your friends or family or coworkers or something say, I just don't believe that this Jesus was a true person, I would probably point them to this.
Yeah, this is actually a really informative movie.
Yeah, and I would say, check out God's Not Dead too, because there's true testimony in this about who Jesus is as a historical figure, and also as Savior. So really good movie. Let's get to rating it. We're gonna rate it 1 to 5. I'm gonna give this one a 4.
A 4?
I was close to giving this to like a 4.9, but I don't want to go that high, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'll
I thought
give
it was
a 4
done.
too. I like this movie a lot too.
Yeah. So this one gets a 4.
Okay.
God's Not Dead 2 gives it a 4.
Yeah, this is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Even just in general, like as a movie, it has a really good plot.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
I think it's just like a good movie.
Well, and what I really liked about it is, like you were saying, the first one maybe not so realistic, but this one was realistic.
Yeah.
And this school teacher, she stood up for her values, and she wasn't going to back down. She knew it wasn't right what they were asking her to do, and what she faced was losing everything.
Yeah.
Losing everything, her profession, her job, everything. So, and she held in there. So, 4 from us it gets from Apples and Oranges. So check out God's Not Dead 2. Ashley, where are we going with the next movie? This one's a new one.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I don't even remember. But since you said it's new,
Yeah.
This one was just out in the movie theater. It's called Jesus Revolution.
Yeah, Jesus Revolution.
And I actually I've heard about it because obviously it was in the movie theater and there was a lot of people going to see it and they're like, oh, this is a really good movie. And then I started seeing things like actually about, like I didn't know this was a real thing in time.
Yeah,
Like,
yes, absolutely. Greg Laurie's story. A
yeah,
couple people. I think it's Higsby's story. Yeah.
What I really liked about it is in the movie they have, like at the end, there's clips of the times in real life, like what it looked like in America at this time.
Yeah.
It was the 70s?
Yeah, 1970s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just toward the end of the Vietnam War there. So Jesus Revolution. Let me give the trailer. All right, can I do that?
Sure.
Are you sure? Okay.
Is it long?
No, it's not long. Here.
Okay.
1970s, Greg Laurie and a sea of young people descend on sunny Southern California to redefine truth through all means of liberation. Inadvertently, Laurie meets a charismatic street preacher and a pastor who open the doors to a church to a stream of wandering youth. What unfolds is a countercultural movement that becomes the greatest spiritual awakening in American history. I thought that this one was really, really well done. It's about the life testimony of Greg Laurie. He's still a pastor today. I've had the opportunity to meet him and speak with him twice.
Really?
He's just a really nice man. I met him at Creation Festival. That's I won't get into it. You can Google Creation Festival. But he was a guest speaker there a couple times. Just a really nice man. And you're right. You know what I liked about this story is, and again, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do my best not to ruin it. But there was just really one profound scene for me in this movie that I really thought about for a while. You know what scene I'm talking about? No. So there's this scene where this pastor is either he's a Baptist or he's a Calvary Chapel pastor, and so he has his normal congregation there, and on the left side is his normal congregation.
Yeah.
And now before I'm quoting the movie now, and this is not me. This is not Pastor Jason's use of terminology. This is the movie quote. This hippy dippies. They didn't want the hippy dippies to come into their church.
The people of the church, yeah.
Right, the people of the church, the normal
Certain
congregation.
People, yeah.
And so the pastor welcomes them in. Mm-hmm. And so on the one scene is on the left, you have the normal the congregation, the normal congregation, and on the right, it's just overflowing with hippies.
Hippies, yeah.
And they're in the pews. There's so many of them. They're sitting on the floor. And
they all have no shoes on.
Right. They have no shoes on. And
yeah.
that go ahead.
I had a really good scene. I really, really love the scene. There was a scene where one of the pastors or head guys there that go all the time, he was an older man, they were like against the hippies coming into the church, and they're like, they don't even wear shoes.
Right.
And the main pastor, the next Sunday, he's got a line outside the door, and he's on the ground washing their feet.
Yeah.
And I really love that scene because at first it didn't register like why he was washing their feet, because he wanted them to be able to walk into the building without them complaining their feet were dirty.
That's right.
But also, like Jesus, he was down on his knees washing their feet.
He was their servant. And that's what I loved about this movie, because it really, for me, it highlighted or magnified how we get so comfortable in our churches, and we forget that it's the people that normally aren't in church that need to be in church.
Yeah.
And when they come into the church, I almost said when they come into our church, but when they come into church, we expect them to act a certain way, and we expect them to dress a certain way and talk a certain way and smell a certain way. And that's not the reality of it.
No, yeah.
That's not what it's supposed to be about. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to, there's a song, I forget the name, I'm not going to sing it, but part of the verse says that, isn't church supposed to look more like a hospital than it does today? And again, I'm paraphrasing, and that's what it's supposed to. This movie did a really good job of reminding me of that.
Yeah, me too. I liked it a lot because there was a lot of, like, these people were like, they can't come to our church, blah, blah, blah. And then, but basically it was like, okay, if no one else comes into church, we're not going to have one.
We're not going to have church. And you know what? This was a young generation who they were searching for love. Now, I didn't live, in this time. I was born in 1978. But I've done some history and some study on this. The country was in war. Mm-hmm. It was in a war that they did not believe we should be in. And this young generation was just searching for love. Mm-hmm. And they were just searching for love. And they did it through drugs. They did it through hallucinogens.
All the wrong places.
And all the right places. Because this group of young adults found their love in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, once the movement happened.
Right, and it was the greatest movement in American history.
It's so weird because I didn't even know about this until I literally watched this movie, and I was like, oh, this is real? This is a real time? Yep,
it's a real time. It really happened. And it just shows us how this currently, now let's fast forward to today, and it really highlighted for me that there's a younger generation searching and seeking. Mm-hmm. And just because they're searching and seeking, maybe with same sex or through drugs, whatever it is, they're going to search and seek. Mm-hmm. And we have to be there with loving arms to have real relationship with them, to talk to them. That's what I loved about the pastor. is he talked with the hippies, and he just had relationship with them.
Yeah, they all stayed in his house at one point.
They were all in his house at one point. The house was getting
wakes up one morning and it was just like filled with all the hippies.
With all the hippies, and the young generation today, they need people to simply talk to them and not judge the way they look at the world. And again, I may not agree with the way they look at the world or the way they act with the world, but the reality is they're searching and seeking. And I have to take off my perspective and see it through their perspective, and then just give them information and let them do what they want with that information while the Holy Spirit, while God works in their life.
Yeah.
This was
it
was a good movie.
It kind of actually reminded me of today, honestly, even though there's a lot of bad going on in the world and in the younger generation.
Yep.
I think that probably in the 70s too, there was a lot of bad going on, right? People that didn't find Jesus and they were doing all the other stuff.
Yep.
And it kind of reminded me of today because even my brother, like his generation and younger kids his age, I always think he's so much older than he is, but he's only 16.
Yeah.
And he went to the movies to go see this movie, and he's like, oh my goodness.
He loved it.
He was like, sometimes I felt like it was me in the movie, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, younger kids are going to see this?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of apparel, like shirts and stuff like that are Christian based, and that's really cool to me. I feel like there is like a revolution going on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I sometimes think that we forget where we were. Yeah. We get ingrained in our new life in Christ, and we want to see others come to know Christ and have a relationship with Him, but we forget where we were.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about Greg Laurie. He has never forgotten his past. He's never forgotten his story, and every time he shares, it's wrapped up into his story and what Jesus did in his life. So here's a couple quick, for those of you that are considering watching this movie, you can stream it now, which I thought was pretty interesting but then again, I'm an old fart.
If a stream movies in the movie theater at home.
Yeah, like I would have thought this would have come out like December, but no. On DVD, right. But no, it's out. You can stream it, and you can watch it right in your home. Jonathan Roumie, Roumie. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
Who is that?
That is he plays Lonnie Frisbee.
He looks like Jesus.
Yes.
He's in a bunch of other movies too.
Well,
that are religious.
he's the actor that plays Jesus in the Chosen. Yeah, in the Chosen series. Jonathan Roumie.
Yeah.
Great.
I haven't watched The Chosen though, and I keep saying I'm going to. I never do.
And he really portrays the sad life of Lonnie Frisbee because Lonnie he was the catalyst. He was the man. Again, I don't want to ruin it for you, but you'll see at the end what he falls to, and he just kind of drifts away.
Yeah, but Jake and I were talking about this because at some point I got confused and I was like, wait, so like, is everything he just did fake? And then Jake's no, like that's not the point. The point of his scene was basically to show what his talent is and the gifts that God gave him.
Yeah.
And basically he had done it. And then after that, it was like he was trying to do the work instead of God.
And it's interesting because there's a scene where this guy and Joel Courtney is the actor that plays Greg Laurie. There's a scene where Lonnie Frisbee is saying something, and then he says something in a prideful way. This is my church, or this is he says something, and the scene immediately cuts to Greg Laurie, and Greg Laurie's eyes light up because he sees the pridefulness in Lonnie Frisbee.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give it away, but you made me give it away. And so really, God worked through Lonnie, but Lonnie reached the point where it became him and not God working through him.
Yeah.
And that a lot of times is a lot of that's a lot of stories for many Christians.
Yeah.
We bring individuals to Christ, and not even that. See, that statement right there is even wrong. I surrendered my desires to allow God to use me to bring people to Christ. And then somewhere in my thinking, I think that I did it.
Yeah.
Instead of remembering that God did it.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole premise there. So Kelsey Grammer, he's in this. He's Chuck Smith. He's the pastor. Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, he's really good. I liked him a lot.
He's a pretty famous actor. Joel Courtney again. That's Greg Laurie. Anna Grace Barlow. She's Kathy. You seem to know her, Anna Grace Barlow. Didn't you know her? You didn't know her? Oh, I thought you said you knew her in one of those singing movies.
No, that's from John Tucker Must Die.
Oh, sorry. All right. And then there was Kimberly Williams. She played Charlene. Just a really good cast throughout.
Yeah, overall, it's just a really good movie, though.
It was a really good movie.
And, I didn't feel like I was sitting there watching, like a Christian movie. I felt like I was watching a regular movie.
Yeah, because I did, too. I mean, I really they were not delicate about Greg Laurie's past with drug use.
Yeah.
They didn't hide that.
It was a really good, just depiction of a normal person.
Yeah.
And normal life, and then history, I guess, at the same time, which was really good, really cool.
Yeah. So it comes down. So again, Jesus Revolution. Check it out. You can stream it now. I don't think it's in theaters anymore. Maybe if it is, it's coming to an end.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
But
anymore.
we encourage you to take a look at that. So let's rate it. Let's give it 1 to 5. Apples and oranges. Will you do this one?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
You're gonna give it a 5.
A lot. Yeah. I guess probably because it was newer too.
Yeah.
So it was a more modern movie.
Just giving it a 5.
Yeah.
So nobody can beat this movie.
Well, there could be other 5s.
Yeah, but nobody can beat it, is what I said. You think that this is the... hey, I'm not going to persuade you. She gave it a 5, everybody. No, you gave it a 5. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because this was a really... Again, it was really done well.
No, I'm sticking to my 5.
Okay, that's what I said. Stick to your 5. Nobody's twisting your arm here.
It's a really good movie.
Oh.
And I think that the way they portrayed the Christian faith was really good.
I thought it was really good as well.
And there was some elements where, maybe people who are watching won't understand them because they're not as they don't read the Bible as much, or they haven't been a Christian all their life.
Yep.
But then for people that do watch it, they make those connections, like Jesus washing the feet.
The feet, yeah.
Yeah, just small little things that they did that I think were really good.
Yeah.
And show exactly it even reminds me of when we did our
I don't know.
Our
don't
group
hit me.
thingy.
Our group thingy. What is that?
When we were together with our group and we learned about
what?
Jesus.
Oh, when we did our retreat.
Yeah.
Our leaders retreat.
Yeah.
Yes. At America's Keswick.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did a program called Jesus.
Yes.
And I feel what's his name? Lonnie?
Lonnie. Yeah, Lonnie Frisbee.
I feel like he really understood that task.
Okay.
That to be as much as Jesus. To be like Jesus as much as possible.
As much as possible, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And then, he even showed that to, the pastor in the church. He's like, well, yeah, basically, that's what Jesus would do, too.
Yeah.
And it changed. They didn't even have a church building anymore. They were outside at one point because there were so many people.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. 4.5 and a 5.
Yep.
So check it out, Jesus Revolution, or just God's Not Dead 2. Okay?
Which they're both really good. This is a good episode to talk about movies because they were both really good.
They were both really good movies, and we want to hear from you. So go to our YouTube page. Watch the movies. Put in comments. Let's start a dialogue. Let's hear what you think about these movies and how they made an impact, or maybe you didn't like them, and maybe you think that it really should be a 1. We really want to hear from you, so go to our YouTube channel and type in a comment there, Jesus Revolution or God's Not Dead 2.
I still don't know if you can comment on Spotify.
I don't know if you can comment either.
Well, if you can, you can do that.
If you can comment on Spotify, again, we want to hear from our listeners. If you're listening now and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. We want to try to raise that up as much as possible. So here are the next 2 movies.
Oh, okay.
Here are the next 2 movies.
Write them down.
Oh yeah, these are going to be good. The next one is called Norm Geisler, Not Qualified. Google that. Google it. No, Google it. Don't put it in your notes.
Why?
Because we're on air. Google it. I want to make sure that this is a Christian movie.
Norm?
Norm.
Uh-huh.
Geisler. G-E-I.
G-E-I.
SLER.
Not qualified. I
Yes.
got it.
Yeah, see, because it looks like there are stars, but it doesn't show 4 or 5 stars. It shows 0 stars.
Yes, this is a Christian movie.
Yeah, Christian movie. When did it come out?
2021.
2021. Norm Geisler, not qualified. That's the next one we're gonna rate.
Okay, can I tell you the rating from IMDb?
Yeah, go ahead. IMDb.
It's an 8.8 out of 10.
Wow, an 8.8 out of 10.
So if you're interested in watching along with us, that gives a good number at if it's a good movie or not.
If it's a good movie, I'm excited to watch this one.
Norm Geisler, the movie.
Norm Geisler, not qualified. And then the next one is going to be Asbury Revival, Desperate for More.
Okay.
Look that up. See what that is. Asbury Revival. Is that an actual movie?
It's an actual occurrence.
Yeah.
What is it? Desperate for More?
Desperate for More. Asbury Revival.
Yes,
Desperate for More. When did it come out?
Wait. Christian Movies on Demand.
Yep.
It came out in
2023. It's only 52 minutes though.
February 8th.
Does this have a rating?
No.
It doesn't.
But it's about a revival in Wilmore, Kentucky.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. We're not going to do that one because that's just talking about the Asbury Revival here in Kentucky. That's not. That's a documentary.
Yes.
That's a documentary.
I was a little confused.
All right, so let's look at Rescued from Darkness. Rescued from Darkness. It's a 2023 78 movie.
Yep. 2023. Rescued from Darkness.
Yeah. Now this shows it's got 5 stars. Watching the inspiring true story of Pope John II, School of Central Uganda.
No.
This is no good either?
Nope, it's a TV show.
Okay, so here we go. Norm Geisler, not qualified as movie 1. The second movie is God Not Dead 3.
There's another one?
Yeah, there's a third one.
I thought there was.
God's Not Dead 3. Look it up. Make sure, right? God's Not Dead 3.
Okay, so it's called God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness.
God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness.
Okay, and now let's give this has got a 4.4 out of 10.
Okay, well, let's see what they have to say about it. It's a 4.4 out of 10. So those are our 2 movies that we're gonna watch this week, and we're gonna give it a rating.
Yeah.
God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness, and then the other one was Norm Geisler, not qualified. Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening to us. Hope you enjoy the movies that we checked out. Again, if you do, comment. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Ashley, take us out.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next Friday at 7 p.m.
Bye.
Thanks.